Welcome to the Rob Bro Show. I am Rob Bro. I am the host. You are the co-host. You can co-host today by commenting on the starting line chat line. And we are pleased to be introducing here, second time on the show, friend of the program now. And I guess we could say longtime sponsor. We're like 7 months, 8 months in. The starting line chat line.
You have the invoices. I don't remember.
Chase Wade, along with Carson, as always. Chase, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good, guys. How are y'all?
Hanging in there. This is a little earlier than we usually do the show, so gotta hop up on caffeine and take a little lap this morning to get ready.
It's close to the time we
used just in time.
Yeah, we're calling it the breakfast today instead of the lunch.
Yeah.
All right, let's get right into it with the starting line counseling, the starting line chat line we always talk about. Briefly mention the counseling as well. Tell us what you're doing and how you're growing, man, because it's pretty exciting to watch from here.
It's really cool because I was actually talking to my wife about this the other day. I turned in my graduate school application on May 8th, 2009, the day before graduation for undergrad. And I was like, these idiots won't let me in, and the idiots let me in. I was definitely more focused on track than school in undergrad, so I was let in on probation. Let's just put it that way. And then fell in love with counseling. But when I turned my application in, I was just kind of thought, like, what would it be like to have my own practice? Like, what goes into that? And I kind of went through my CV and realized, like, wow, I've worked for 7 different people over the years, and then realized after my wife and I had our son that the job I had and I loved living in Houston, that I didn't really want to be there anymore. I wanted to be an involved father and an involved husband. And so my wife and I decided to move back to our small town back in April of we decided last February, then we moved in April. So we've been up here for almost a year. And so it Rob, about the same time as you, both quit our corporate jobs. And so I just started my own practice virtually out of the house. I had no idea if it was going to work. The pandemic did that for mental health. It made virtual more normal. And then as my little town is starting to grow, ever since they won their first state title in football in 2016, it's Gunner, Texas. They've now won 4 of them. The town is just continuing to grow, and to me, it was kind of a God thing. Sometimes things just kind of line up. I was going to run an ultra marathon in January, and my hip locked up and I could barely move it about 5 days before. And so I went to the physical therapist here in town, and I said, yeah, well, my wife and I are wanting to have another kid here in like a year and a half. I was like, I think I need to find some office space. And she goes, there's this brand new building going in. Come be my neighbor. And so I toured the place the next week and said, I want this now. And it's the perfect setup for me. A little echoey at the current moment. I need to get some of one more runner rug and some plants and stuff in here, but it's 420 square feet, got a lobby, got an office in the back. I'm really excited to bring this, Maybe I dropped out. No, I'm good.
Oh, you're back.
But no, I'm excited to bring this to the city of Gunner and start working with the folks here. And next school year, I'm actually going to start running some groups for high school kids and junior high kids as well. I miss running groups. So this is kind of a 15-year dream come true.
That's awesome, man. I need to get some of that neon like you have behind you too with the Rob Bro Show.
I'll send you the link. This guy did an awesome job. My sister-in-law, it was perfect. My dad, notorious, is a CPA, so he filed my LLC. My brother-in-law does computer stuff, so he designed my website. My sister-in-law is a graphic designer, so she designed all my logos. So everything was pretty much pre-made for me. I just had to show up and do my job.
That's awesome. So you have the space. You're about a year into the practice.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome, man. And of course, you're a former track athlete, as you said, from Texas Tech. Running ultras, that you've ran at least a marathon lately, yeah?
Yeah, I ran my buddy Nathan, who I ran track with at Tech, texted me the first week 0 of football, and he goes, "Hey, do this 50K trail race with me." I didn't even know what 50K was at the time. I was like, what? It's more than a marathon. What is that? And I looked it up and I just kind of started laughing, told my wife. My wife looked at cute Airbnbs and said, you should do it. so, so that was 4 months out and I was probably 210 pounds at the time. And so I just slowly started walk jogging and then got it up to where I got down to about 165 pounds over the course of about 4 months. And it was 31, just a little over 31 miles with 4,000 feet of elevation down in Bandera, Texas, outside of San Antonio.
It's awesome. I always get my 31 miles in when I'm on vacation too. So we do it in common there. All right, let's talk a little track currently going on, the indoor championships at the NCAAs. I want to go back to the Big 12 championships real quick. You didn't win a ton of individual championships, but you absolutely dominated as a team. Have a lot of qualifiers for the men, and the women didn't too poorly either. Caleb Dean was the high point getter for Texas Tech. But I want to start with the long distance. You had the 5,000 meter champion, and then I believe I heard the legendary Coach Kitley say, yeah, we just kind of were sitting there overnight and tried to throw him in the 3,002, and he, I think, got second just out of nowhere. We don't know how much gas he has in the tank, but let's just throw him out there again. So I know that's something in your career.
That was one of those things of where when I was at South Plains College, we second semester, we got these two guys, John and Josephat, and we thought Josephat was going to be the faster one. And John, and the thing is when those guys come over from Kenya, like let's say we're going to travel, we've got 2 flights typically if we're connecting to get somewhere. Getting out of Kenya is a 2 to 3, 4 day ordeal sometimes. It's getting through your embassy, it's trekking across your country to get to an airport, to another airport, and so on and so forth. And so they're just exhausted when they get here. So they have a culture shock, they have a food shock, they have a climate shock, allergies. And their first semester is typically pretty rough, especially those first couple of months. And so for him to go, I think it was 1343 adjusted in the 5,000. My buddy texted me and goes, well, we got 10 points in the 5,000. And I was like, oh, cool. A couple of guys scored. And then I looked and I was like, oh, we had somebody win the 5,000 and set the facility record 5,000. And I'm very excited to see what this kid can do outdoors. That is very, very fast. After 2 months of being in the country.
And then to just have the wherewithal, I guess, to go back-to-back days and run the 3,002. He got in the first heat.
Out of the slow heat.
Yeah. Which I'm, again, not much of a track fan here, but I do like to watch the Olympics and all that, the outdoor meets, but I'm getting into indoor track here. There's just 2 heats. And I guess he's in the slow heat. It's so much more of an advantage to be in that second heat because you know what you have to run. But to get second out of the slow heat, that's pretty impressive, I think.
It really is, especially with Oklahoma State and BYU being in this conference. Those are just 2 strong distance schools. Oklahoma State just won the cross-country national championship in the fall. And it's, I'm biased, but if you look across sports, NCAA sports in general, them beating Northern Arizona is one of the most impressive things. Northern Arizona is a dynasty. They've won like 6 or 7 of the last, national titles in cross country. Those kids train at 7,000 feet altitude. They just bring in the right guys and they train well. And so for Oklahoma State to beat them, I mean, and Dave Smith, who actually used to coach at Tech 20 years ago, he's built something amazing at Oklahoma State. I believe that's their 2nd or 3rd national title in cross country. And so if we had run him in the first heat, I don't know if he would have won, but he would have been fighting for it for sure.
I thought I was muted. My bad.
There you go. You look like you
the distance thing is tough too and you mentioned the slow heat, and that's because of the pace of the slow heat versus the pace of the fast heat, which is the second heat usually. So that's why you say the slow heat is tougher. It's not so much that they may be like the runners, you don't have a chance to win. It's just the pace. Sometimes you have to set it yourself in those long distance races. That's why the slow heat is harder to win than the fast heat, because of the pace set by everybody else on the track. So if you don't set your own pace and kind of just blow everybody out of the water in that heat, you're probably not going to win. So that's why you talk about the difference between the slow and the fast heats and distance, especially.
Oh yeah, and it's just because it's how it's seeded. Because I don't think I was not aware of him until that meet.
I don't think
which everybody found out now. So I don't think he even had a seed time. So it's like if I still have 1 year of indoor eligibility. So if Kitley could give me a singlet, I would get stuck in that second heat. Now, granted, they would ask me to step off the track after probably about 4 laps, but.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that was something I again, not familiar, but they were just pulling people off. That's got to be pretty embarrassing to get yanked in the middle of a race.
Well, you remember it's only it's a 200-meter track, so I think it's because they shift rules all the time. I remember the old Big 12 rule, at least at Iowa State track, which is 300 meters. Once you got lapped, you stepped off. I maybe on the 200 meters, maybe it's the second time you're lapped, you have to step off. But yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's nuts. You had the distance, obviously, and then we talked about the 60 meters for the men. That's where a bunch of your points came from in the Big 12 championship. Obviously, Terrence Jones is the guy that everybody knows the name, but I mean, Caleb Dean was big last week in the Big 12 indoors. He's looking to be a chance to win a national title. So is Terrence Jones. So the 60 meters is really where Texas Tech can gain a lot of points as far as going towards a national championship. And obviously I think they run later today.
They'll run the prelims later today.
Yeah.
I mean, Terrence Jones, he can get his whole own episode on how incredible he is. And and Kitley could correct me, but to me, he's always been a guy that builds the whole team, and which is not, of course, what he's doing still. But he even said it in his interview: getting these sprinters just organically happened. It's just they got one, and it just opened up this pipeline. And Caleb Dean, he's ranked second in the 60, and he's ranked third in the 60-meter hurdles.
Yeah.
And he's going to have a long weekend, but these guys are, they're built to do this weekend, is to go run 4 different rounds for those, because we have 2 guys in the 60-meter hurdles, and I think is it 6 or 7 that qualified for the 60, and they take the top 16 times. Indoors is how you qualify, whereas outdoors you have to run a qualifying mark to get to regionals, and then it's the top 5 from each regional move on. So this is just the top 16 times, and I believe it's top 12 or top 16 times for the relays that there's out there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's 12 or 16 for relays, but and then you already have points. You already have points from Jacob Mailer, however you say his last name, kid from Andrews. He threw yesterday and got 10th, which he was the number 12 ranked thrower coming into it. So that's big points right there. He gives you plus points there that you didn't think you'd have coming in with him being the 12th. He adds it and gives himself two spots better and finishes in the top 10 in the country. That's big.
Hey, that's an All-American. That's 1 point. We'll take it. And that's when you have that guy that's, 11 to 16, your goal is just for him to just get into the point gets. Like that's just what it is for him to go have a career day for himself and get in there. And it is that part of it. It's just like you want the other team to false start. You want the other team to travel. Well, you want a guy to step out of the ring. You want a guy to false start in track and field because it benefits. It sucks for them, but it benefits you. Just like at the Big 12 championships, Terrence really timed the gun poorly. He was really trying to get out there. And I even text my high school coach who actually officiates the meets out there in Lubbock. I said, the starter's holding him too long. He goes, it looks like that on TV. He's waiting for them all to settle in. And I was like, I don't like your logic because my guy just false started.
Yeah.
I will say this before we get too far into who we think is going to win or rank or place, whatever it is in the indoor championships here starting last night, getting underway really today. I do want to mention the Big 12 championships being in Lubbock and so many tournaments coming through Lubbock and it being kind of a premier destination in the Big 12 has been really good for Texas Tech. I don't want to say how jealous are you for that to come in after you've graduated and left. But How impressive is that venue? Because look, I've been in it, but I've not been to a bunch of indoor venues. So it looks good to me, but I don't really know the standard there.
No, I'm extremely jealous. Because I mean, I remember I was out of eligibility. I was waiting tables at Harrigan's in Lubbock in graduate school. And it was a Saturday night. It was a Saturday night kickoff for football, and I couldn't watch the game because it wasn't on TV. Well, that's because all the TV deals started happening afterwards, and all this money started flooding into the university. And now it's every walk-on gets a nutrition plan, whereas I was eating ramen noodles and hot and ready pizzas. Yeah, we got some. We got like I was there for the first year of Under Armour, my last year. We got some cool stuff. They are getting decked out and stuff now.
Oh,
They
yeah.
have a full recovery center with all the Normatec things. And we were lucky just to have the ATC, to have the bubble. I wasn't a big fan of that track, but it was also this unique nostalgic thing to have a 236-meter donut with no straightaway, and you run behind the
That's a
bleachers, and it was
fact.
real loud. It was cool to run where you're on the same level as your teammates, where they're only 5 lanes away. But I got to go out there about almost 2 years ago now, for the track and field reunion. It was actually the week before my son was born. And Kitley said, "Hey, I'm going to have you guys go over, check out the indoor track." And it was the first time I had gotten to go in there. And it is so impressive. I wish they had a little more money to put behind it, because it's just not big enough to host the national meet, and they could. They're just landlocked by the streets and landlocked by fire code. But that is one of the premier facilities in the country. It's when you're having just a regular meet in January, and you got guys from Florida showing up, you got guys from Auburn showing up, when you're having all these other big P5 schools show up with really good guys to jump, to sprint, to run distance. It's really impressive. And I'm really happy for Coach Kitley. Honestly, when he retires, it needs to be renamed after him.
There's a lot of things. I think he needs a road named after him. He needs the whole track and field complex, everything track and field. It's probably needs to be Wes Kitley or
Corky.
Corky. It's exactly where I was going with it. It's either Corky or Wes. Something needs to be named Corky or Wes, because those two guys built what this program is. Now they're the two guys that built this thing, and obviously the support staff around Wes has been amazing every single year he's been here. You can't go without saying that either. But
And
Wes
he's
Kitley
just he's just a good human being.
He's a
just
great
what
human.
he is. Like
Great
I mean,
human being.
I was a walk-on from South Plains, and I messaged him and I might have said this last time, but right before the 2019 national title, I messaged him. I said, "You're going to win this year." And this is about a month out. And he just said, "Thanks, Chase." And he always comments on my Facebook, like, "Happy birthday, Chase."
Sure.
And then I bumped into him about 2 years later, when I was out there for a football game, and he goes, "You messaged me and you told me we were going to win," gave me a big hug. He's like, "How's life treating you?" He's like, "You have really bad opinions about football." And so we, he and I built a really special relationship, even though I was just some walk-on kid who didn't contribute points to the team. But, his goal was for me to come there and just be a leader with the distance guys and get my education. And, to get to be a varsity Letterman athlete there was really special. And so everything that he is getting right now is his whole career, accumulating to this. And he's, got a 7-year contract. And so hopefully he can pull out Big 12 titles are almost a given for us now, but which is weird to say, right? But it's just like,
true.
He's got 12 now, and he's going to keep winning, and he's going to win outdoors. He's going to kick UT's ass in outdoors. And I send him out that way. So I'm very happy for him, because he has worked very hard to build what he has.
And another small town dude from the big city of rural Texas, right there, Coach Wes.
Oh, yeah.
Just he's just a good human being. He's the guy that everybody roots for because he's such a good man. He's not just a good coach; he's a great man, and that's why people ask, like, how can Wes Kitley be so successful? And it's because of who he is as a human, and then he turns that into who he is as a coach, and that's why athletes want to come run for him. Like, that's what Wes Kitley does. And then, like I said, the coaching staff around him, once you get to know all those guys and really dive into what their message is, it just comes to fruition on the track but a lot of these kids are doing it well in the classroom too. And you're seeing a lot of international athletes that are able to compete at the highest level, which is in the Olympics as well. So it's been fun to watch how this track program has progressed over the years. And obviously, like you just said, it's coming to fruition what he has built, and everything men and women wise, because the women have been just as dangerous as the men lately. So, and it's fun to see both sides doing well. You talk about Arkansas. Arkansas has been a track program dynasty. You talked about the indoor facility. Arkansas's indoor facility is seen as maybe being one of the fastest, if not the fastest in the country. And that's why Arkansas is so good every single year, because they have great facilities, they have great coaching, and that's what Texas Tech has become now, is one of those premier places to go run track and field for both men and women.
Oh yes, and it's once Tech is done with this $250 million renovation on the football facility, I'm hoping that the next focus is on the baseball diamond and on the outdoor track, because soccer has amazing facilities. They're really building up softball right now. Tennis has good facilities. Of course, we've all played the Rawls Golf Course. Football is going to be one of the best facilities in the country. Yeah. Indoors, amazing. It's now it's time for baseball to figure things out. My personal vote is move you guys. But just right, not over the highway, just right across the street, and then build up the outdoor facility for track.
Yeah, awesome. Completely agree.
Seems doable, but it's not my money. So
I told my buddy yesterday, he's like, if I win the lottery, this is what I'm going to do. Yeah, I got to start playing the lottery.
No kidding.
Yeah, you got to start.
No kidding.
First. All right, so you mentioned Arkansas there. Arkansas probably the favorite if they're coming in at number one, but Texas Tech has been number one a lot of the indoor season. Mm-hmm. I think this might have been before we started, but you said 15 entrants from Arkansas, 14 from Texas Tech. That's a lot either way. And you already have 1 point on the board. So coming down the stretch, Friday, Saturday, who do you think will win, and who's going to score for Texas Tech big?
Well, one thing we really need to look out for, though, too, is, yes, Arkansas is favored. They got 15. We've got 14. And we're kind of actually cheering for Northern Arizona. They are ranked third. They've been ranked number 2 all year until Arkansas scooted into first. There's a kid named Nico Young. And that name sounds like he's European. He's actually a kid out of California. I'm bringing him up because if you build a Mount Rushmore of top 4 athletic achievements in college history, he's on there now. Last month, or we're in March now, in January, he went up to this same track that the meet's being held at in Boston, and he ran a 12:57 5,000 meters. And when I said that to my wife, she's like, wait a minute, 12:57. That's 409 miles. That's basically 31 and a half seconds a lap on a 200-meter track. He has the Olympic qualifier already, and this is a 21-year-old white kid out of California. It is that is one of, like, I remember in I think it was 2009 or 2010, there was a guy named Dathan Ritzenheim who's retired now, but he was, he made multiple Olympic teams for the United States in the marathon, 10,000. And I remember him as a professional in his late 20s running under 13 minutes in the 5K, and all my buddies were like, holy crap, a white guy did it. A white guy broke 13 minutes for the first time in like 15 years. And from America, not from Australia or something. And we just had a collegian run indoors under 13 minutes. And that is unfathomable. We want him to run really well. We want him to run really well in the 5,000. We want him to run really well in the 3,000. And we want Northern Arizona's DMR to do really well to push Arkansas down. Arkansas has, I believe it's 3 guys in the 5,000 and 3 guys in the 3,000. We want them to not get points there because that's really going to boost us. And we have, it's going to be top 8 into the finals. We have 4 guys in the top 8 that are seeded for the 60 meters with Terrence Jones, Dondre Swint, Caleb Dean, and Sean Brown. Caleb Dean being the one that's also running the 60-meter hurdles. And Terrence Jones, as long as he gets out of the blocks well, he's going to take everybody to church just like he did last year. I mean, he has a shot at breaking the NCAA record and running the fastest mark in the world this year.
A couple of starting line, chat line comments. The Rob Rowe Show and Carson Robinson mixes well with coffee and breakfast tacos. Breakfast tacos. Are you
Breakfast tacos would be great.
Joey wants to know if he can catch track speed. So, I think you have some track athletes. Speaking of track athletes, what's his name? Mikkel Dingle. Did he qualify?
He didn't qualify for anything indoor. No.
I know he qualified, I guess, for the finals, maybe in the indoors at the Big 12 championship. But
he qualified for the finals of the Big 12 championship. Just didn't place high enough to get to the nationals.
That's pretty impressive, though, to be all Big 12 as a freshman and sophomore. After I don't know how much he practices with the track team. I just imagine he's at football and he'll be like, oh wait, no, I have to go run real quick. I'll be back after this.
What he did indoors last year was crazy. He was supposed to be a senior in high school.
Yeah, senior in high school. Yeah.
It goes all Big 12. And the thing is that the hurdles raise 3 inches when you get to college. And freshmen always struggle with the height difference. And for him to get, I think it was 4th or 5th.
Yeah.
I mean, the only way it gets more impressive is if you put pads on him.
Yeah.
It's just crazy. All right, so a good chance. Arkansas, Northern Arizona, Texas Tech, any other teams? Maybe Florida.
Arkansas has a very impressive triple jumper to watch. I mean, he set the collegiate record outdoors last year as a freshman. The triple jump is something fun to watch. Even though it's for Arkansas, I'm still rooting for that kid. The DMR should be really good as well this year. But Terrence Jones as well in the 200, he's favored. It would be great to watch him win the 60 indoor and the 200 indoor, and then go out to outdoor. He didn't have a good showing last year in the 100 meters. I believe it was 100 meters where he did not make the final. But then he came out and showed out for the 200 meters. I might have those reversed. I've had a lot happen in the last year, so it's hard for me to fully remember. And then we have a young man in the 400 meters, Shamir Huder, who's ranked 14th. We just need him to find the top 9 and to give him a shot to go find some points. And so that's just one of those ones of we need him up there. What's good is that the teams that we're competing with in that event, they're not scoring in that event, so we don't need to worry about him pushing their points down, but for him to go find points that we weren't counting on. But it's heavily relying on the 60 meter hurdles, the 200, and hopefully we can find something in the 400. And then I want to say we actually have a high jumper as well too. Let me scroll down. And of course, we also have our 4x4, which is ranked 5th coming in.
Yeah, I think the high jumper was 2nd at the Big 12 championship. So surely.
Yeah, he lost to the kid from Kansas. That was I love when the high jumpers are the last ones to finish, and all eyes are on them, and it's down to 3 guys, and they get to kind of work the crowd because they're really showmen. So
yeah, the Kansas guy was having everybody clap. Pretty good. All right, so that's the indoor championships. I'm assuming they're on ESPN Plus if you can go find them.
They should be on ESPN Plus, and they'll even put them on. Once they get to the finals, it'll be on. It should be on Big Boy ESPN as well too, or something, ESPNU or something along those lines.
I should have prepped you for this, but we had a question earlier this week or late last week on the World. What was it? The World Indoor Championships. Somebody's asked.
They're this weekend too.
They were this past weekend.
Okay, well, I guess it was last week, so we don't need to talk about it. But I did want to ask, and I should have prepped you on this. Are there any Texas Tech athletes that are favored to be in the Olympics? It is an Olympic year. Certainly, we could bring you on in June-ish once we get more action on that. But just early on, do you know of any Sally Kipiegos out there that are going to be running the Olympics?
I need to text Sally because I think this is her final year as a pro is what I'm guessing. And sorry, Sally, if I'm completely wrong on that. But I mean, she's 38 years old now. She's got 2 kids now. And she's, made 3 Olympic teams, 2 Olympic teams. She didn't run 16. I believe there was a hip injury involved. But, her last one, she was an American citizen. She ran in the Tokyo Olympics in the marathon. And I think it was miles 16 or 17, just the marathon will do that to you. She just blew up. The weather was rough for her. But we for sure have some guys that are going to be on the Olympic team. And it just may not be for the United States. Courtney Lindsay will make the 100 meters. We'll probably have several short sprints that are on the Olympic team. His name is escaping me right now, but our pole vaulter from last year has a really good shot at being on the United States Olympic team as well too. It's I will just need to go through and brush up on all that. And I didn't get a chance to watch the indoor meet last year just because I was moving into this space last weekend, and so I think I spent 35 hours up here between Friday and Sunday getting this thing ready.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of that guy's name. He had the crazy hair, right? The pole vaulter last year.
Zach something, and he's a great follow on Instagram too.
Yeah.
Like he
because he had the Dennis Rodman.
Zach Bradford.
Bradford.
That sounds right.
That sounds
yeah.
Right. We'll go with it.
Yep, Zach Bradford. That's who it is.
Bloomington,
Illinois native.
Any other track thoughts before we start moving on to basketball?
No, but I really just think that this is going to be that Tech has a really good shot between them and Arkansas to pull this off. It comes down to just getting out of the blocks clean, everybody finishing well, everybody making it's about today making the finals and hoping that others don't. And
we need a couple Arkansas guys to choke.
Yes, essentially, we need false starts, we need scratches, we need all kinds of things to happen. Nothing career ending, but I hope your quad sucks today. And but no, it's Coach Murray said it very well. The distance coach, he said on his Instagram post after the 2019 one, he goes, "These are so incredibly hard to win," and it's just because it's just like when Tech made it to the Final Four in basketball and then they lost in overtime. Everybody just kind of thought, oh, we'll be back here next year. Yep. That is incredibly hard to be there. Things just have to line up. And that's where they are today. Things just have to line up today. But knowing Kitley, he is always going to be in contention for the rest of his career.
Yep. Another comment here. Hell yeah, Chase is here. Welcome in. That's from Nathan. Big fan of Chase. All right. Texas Tech playing Baylor this weekend, final regular season farewell for the men's team. I will say this, just a quick thought on the Lady Raiders. They beat Houston again.
Big dub yesterday. Yeah.
So I think they have Baylor as well today at 11 a.m. So if you're watching Big 12 women's tournament, that wraps up right when the men's tournament's taking off. So you can be there in Kansas City. But let's get to the men's team. Chase, we haven't talked to you this basketball season, at least on here. I've seen your thoughts in the Discord and other places, but what are your thoughts on year one of Coach Gass? Overperform, underperform, or perform right dead on to what you thought?
Overperform. I mean, it's the knee-jerk Twitter reaction of going after players or the coach, and it's like, You do know that he just got here in April after the NIT, recruited late, built a team out of the portal, and it was thin in the center. And just like Houston fans, like, man, we're so injured right now. It's like, welcome to the Big 12. That's how this works. Everybody's injured right now. You just got to get healthy before the tournament. And for him to have this team. Not just getting into the tournament. I was like, cool. If we can make the tournament, that's a great year. But not just even getting into the tournament, but we have a shot at finishing fourth in the league to get 2 buys in the conference tournament. I mean, this is a better performance than Chris Beard's first year. And for me, it's one of those things of I was at Tech in the late 2000s, so I'm more emotional when it comes to football. I was stuck with Pat Knight and Billy Gillespie, so I'm less emotional when it comes to basketball. So maybe I just think clearer through this, whereas like a late 2010s graduate gets really upset with basketball. They just don't care as much about football because they were there during the good Chris Beard years.
Yeah. That's a good point to make. It was your time at Texas Tech was about the same time we were in college as well, and Texas Tech was no bueno on the hardwood. But now, I think you have to give Grant McCasland a lot of credit, and really to say you're right. Chris Beard's first season wasn't as good as Grant Max has been, and that I think that Chris Beard might have had a better roster.
I don't know
that year because the Tubby Smith. It's not like Tubby Smith gave you the cupboard bare.
I know.
Lawrence,
Shadell Millinghouse.
Yeah, Lawrence
Ross. He had
Keenan.
Keenan Evans. Yeah, Big 12 Player of the Year the next year.
I'm just saying, I think this roster is a little bit better. That Anthony Livingston, I don't know. Pretty even, I would say.
That's fair.
Even, I would say. But
I'll go even. I'll go even, but then it's like, okay, if we're going even, Grant did a better job first year.
Yeah. Fact.
I would agree there. All right, the game tomorrow, Baylor beat you pretty soundly in Waco. I mean, considering what the game was and who was playing, beat you pretty soundly. I will say
79-73. Wasn't that bad.
I remember it worse for some reason.
It was a 6 point, and Warren Washington did not play.
Maybe I'm thinking of a different game.
Warren did not.
Was that one of those ones where we just ran back at the end, like put up those garbage, Dak Prescott stats at the end? Was it one of those?
Maybe.
I don't think so. I think it was pretty close the whole game, and then you ended up losing by 6 because they hit free throws down the stretch.
Interesting. Maybe we just expected to lose going into it.
Well, that's what it was because you knew you weren't going to have Warren.
Anyways, you lose to him the first time. It seems like a bad matchup this time too, especially if Warren Washington doesn't play. Can we get a score prediction and maybe some thoughts on the game there, Chase, and then we'll go to you, Carson?
Okay.
If Tech can play in the middle, I don't want to see Warren Washington. Just give him more rest. Give him more rest. This game does not matter. Like in the long run of things, if we get 1 bye or 2 byes in the Big 12 tournament, it's just fun, dumb bragging rights that 6 years from now we're like, wait a minute, did we finish 4th or 5th in the league that year? And so Tech can pull it out. I'm interested to see what the students are like, just because isn't spring break start this next week? So it depends on how many people are sticking around in town. I could see Tech winning 82-80, but that's just me being a homer. So,
hey, we need homers, man.
Yeah, that's how the world goes.
I wore my Texas Tech pullover today just so I could be a homer this weekend. There's a lot of stuff going on today, so you got to be a homer sometimes. And I think the crowd will still be electric, with it being the last home game. A big game with Baylor coming in. They're ranked number 11 in the country. Everybody loves to beat Scott Drew. Scott Drew will be out on the floor crying at some point tonight, and he'll get razzed by the students. I think it's a perfect time for the students to pre-game for their spring break trips next week. So I think that you'll get a healthy dose of student body. Maybe it won't be up into the rafters like it was for the Texas game, but I think that the crowd will be fine on tomorrow. I also think that I agree with Chase completely. This game, don't care if you win or lose. It'd be cool to win, get 4th place, get a double bye in the Big 12 tournament. But at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Whether you get a single or a double, it doesn't really matter what you do in this one. It doesn't matter what you do in the Big 12 tournament either. So Warren Washington, I could care less if he plays in this game. I could care less if he plays in the first round or second round of the Big 12 tournament. Whatever you play, get him ready for the NCAA tournament, and that's all that matters right now. So, but it would be cool to beat Baylor at home, finish the year on a 3-game heater, and let's see. I think it's going to be pretty high scoring. What's the over-under, Rob? Do you have it?
No total, yep.
No total? Oh, yeah, true. They won't put it out until 6 p.m. today. First one past 75 wins. Let's go Texas Tech 79, Baylor 74.
I'll go 76-73. Somebody wins. Back to the starting line chat line. Thanks for reminding me. I have 3 finals to do when I get off work. Shout out to the midterms, spring break going in next week. But he did get the Dean's List last year. Shout out to Roy.
Yeah, nice. Roy, load up on the IVs before you go, man.
There you go. All right, so Texas Tech, Baylor basketball this week. That's a big game, even though you guys say it doesn't matter. I tend to agree there in the long scheme, but I think short term, it's so important to go into the tournament hot. And if you can beat Baylor, you should. I will say that. Now, am I going to go crying and rub ashes on my face and wear a burlap sack if they lose? No, but I do think it's important to go into the tournament hot. So,
yeah.
Last look at the bracket matrix. You're still sitting on the 7 line. I think you moved up a line closer to 6. If you beat Baylor, maybe you slide even further toward that 6 line, which 6, 7, I don't think that matters too much, but 5th, 4th, I don't know. Crazy things happen. All right, Chase, you want to stick for some baseball talk?
Yeah, sure. I mean, one last basketball thought. She said
Okay.
Brock Cunningham is still a whole bitch.
That's true.
Oh yeah.
Family show.
And it's not a family show. I should have censored myself for, but I really hope we find UT in the Big 12 tournament. And if we do, I want Warren Washington to play in that one. I really want to. I don't like losing to them the way we did. So that's the only part that stings.
Kind of a sour taste there to wrap it up on that note. I will say this. I want Warren Washington to find some minutes before the tournament, but I do think rest and health is important for a long run in the tournament. But I mean, if he's not going to play here next year because he's out of eligibility, and you don't win your first game in the tournament, what was the worth of not playing him your last couple of games? I don't know. There's some risk reward there to maybe get him. I don't know, the first 10 minutes of the second half or the final 10 minutes of the game, something against Baylor, and then maybe 5 or 10 minutes per game in the Big 12 tournament just to get him loose.
Yeah, just to run him a little bit. Yeah,
going, just to get that rebound acumen back in sharp array there.
Yeah. Hey, and even if Tech loses, Chris just made a great point. If Tech loses, if Houston beats Kansas, you're going to get 4th place anyways, I believe. So
when Houston
because Houston will beat Kansas, by the way.
That game will be done before you play, so you'll know.
Yes, so you'll know exactly where you stand before you even hit the floor tomorrow, with Houston and Kansas playing in the earlier slot. So, and I think Houston will hold serve at home, no doubt about it. Kansas, to be honest, I think Bill Self might sit a couple of his guys and stay healthy because that game really doesn't do much for them either. I don't believe, like in the grand scheme of things,
college basketball.
I wouldn't put it past Bill Self to do it. Like, just give him an excuse for why he got beat at Houston and couldn't do it, right? Like that seems like something Bill Self would do.
He's already lost.
I'm putting it out there.
He's already has his worst Big 12 season ever at 10-7.
Yeah, and why not make it 10-8 and just
crazy
finish it out?
That's their worst Big 12 season ever.
Yeah, worst Big 12 season, still a winning record.
I hope that in 20 years, Coach Gass is looking back and saying 10-7 was our worst Big 12 year.
That'd be cool.
That'd be pretty solid.
It's a lot of success right there, but yeah, pretty crazy that Texas Tech's not ranked in the top 25 either, but they're in the top 6 of this conference. They're sitting in 4th, literally by themselves because of the tiebreaker with Kansas right now. And they're not ranked in the top 25, but Baylor and BYU and Kansas, both who are underneath Texas Tech in the Big 12 standings, are ranked number 14 and number 20. So it's just kind of funny how the AP and the coaches polls and all those things work because of rankings. But as we talked about, rankings don't matter until you get into the NCAA tournament. And once you get in the tournament, it doesn't really matter either because anybody can beat anybody. And because 16 seeds have beat 1 seeds now, anybody can beat anybody in this tournament, and that's all that matters is getting in, and then you do your damage how you want to in the NCAA tournament.
I know we'll talk Big 12 basketball tournament probably next Monday, but Iowa State, the odds-on favorite. I mean,
I think Iowa State is playing the best in the Big 12 right now.
Well, even without that, they're always a favorite in Kansas City because so many fans show up, and they're really good.
Yeah.
Hey, before we get to baseball, I want to speed run these. Just give me a winner real quick. We'll go in a circle, starting with Chase. Iowa State, Kansas State, and Bramlage.
Iowa State.
Yeah, Iowa State. I think they beat them by 20.
I'll go Tang. It's kicking the glass.
There's another story. Bill Self and Jerome Tang after the game on Wednesday.
That was so stupid. Did you see all the videos come out where Bill Self speed ran through the handshake line at Kansas State?
Yeah.
He was like, "Oh, he speed ran me."
He didn't even want to be in the handshake line in Lubbock, so he got booted.
I know, exactly. He got kicked out in Lubbock.
Yeah, on purpose, just for that fact.
What?
Well, I just don't like how the games are being called.
Yeah.
Hey, what is the deal with all these soft Big 12 coaches out of nowhere? Rodney Terry is sleeping in silk pajamas.
He is
after
so
every game,
soft.
win or lose. Jerome Tang has had some soft moments this year.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bill Self has been soft.
I'd say the only ones that we haven't seen be soft this year are McCaslin. TJ Otzelberger's been hard. Kelvin Sampson always is not soft.
Yeah.
Kelvin Sampson's not the guy I want to meet in the handshake line after I beat him by 30.
No.
Like
His was actually the only fair ejection.
He's not going to be soft. Yeah.
Well,
his is the only fair. He ran across the court because his player was assaulted. Like his was the only fair ejection. That was not soft at all.
Yeah. Well, and Grant McCaslin was upset last week in West Virginia because of his player getting assaulted. And the referees didn't understand why he was so upset. That's why he was upset. Pop Isaacs was just, shoved in the back. But anyways, okay, continue on your
lightning. I forgot we were lightning rounding. All right. The Red River Rivalry Showdown Shootout, Oklahoma, Texas.
They both lose.
Yeah, can that happen? Where are they playing?
At the movie.
It should be in Austin, so I'm still gonna go OU. No, I'm gonna go UT. Dessou's out now. I'm gonna go OU because Dessou is out. But UT had been really hot, but Dessou is out.
Yeah, if Dessou's not playing, they suck.
He shouldn't be. The way he went down, his knee looked bad.
Yeah.
Give me the Sooners, just because I don't like Texas.
I hate it, but it's a clean sweep. West Virginia, Cincinnati.
We're at
the Fifth Third Arena in Cincinnati, Ohio.
Fifth Third.
I'm going to go Cincinnati.
Just keep calling it the shoe.
Cincinnati for sure.
Yeah, Cincinnati wins.
West Virginia on the road versus
Not
West
good.
Virginia at home is like that meme with the horse, where it's really well drawn in the first half and then like derpy in the second half. Kansas at Houston in the Fertitta Center.
Houston by 50. No. Houston will win. I don't know if it'll be by double digits. But
One a fun fact. When I lived in Houston, I had two neighbors got really close to. One of them actually became the godfather of my son. And then lived next to him for 4 years. Then I move up here. And then UH joins the conference. And they're playing at the Fertitta Center. And then it dawned upon me, one of my buddies is cousins with the Fertittas. His last name was Fertitta. Yeah. I knew him from 4 years, went to the gym together, and it never dawned upon me, oh, you're part of that famous family in Houston.
You're that family that has all this money.
You're that family.
You're the one that controls everything at the
University. And I texted him that during the game, and he sent me a selfie while in the suite box at the Fertitta Center.
In the Fertitta suite. Yeah.
You're best friends with a Fertitta for 4 years. You don't get Rockets tickets?
No kidding.
I know, right? Well, there was a lot of pandemic times going on when I was down there, but yeah.
Sure. You got to get some Rocket tickets. I don't even know if the Rockets are any good anymore, but
no.
UCF at TCU in the Schollmeyer.
TCU.
You know what? Just because I think UCF, it's a game that UCF will just be stupid and win. Give me the Knights.
I'll take TCU too. The UCF is a little bit of a home and road split as well.
And I'll take Jamie Dixon on the court for 8 minutes.
Yeah, with no penalty.
He'll play defense at one point or another in this game.
Yeah. With no penalty, correct? No penalty.
Yeah. Then the final game: Oklahoma State at BYU.
BYU
by 50, and I don't mean that lying.
You know what? Oklahoma State might win that game.
No, they will not.
That's a Big 12.
Is Mike Boynton getting canned?
Yes, finally.
Unfortunately, yes.
Who do they hire?
Bill Self goes home.
Chris Beard?
Chris Beard.
Oh, that would be great.
He's
I
coming.
wanted to go to A&M. I wanted to hit the whole triangle of Texas. I wanted to go to A&M.
That would be funny, but I think West Virginia is obviously going to be open with the interim tag on their coach. There might
Louisville, Arkansas.
Yeah, there's space. The Arkansas job is interesting because
Musselman was
so
hot.
Musselman wants to leave so bad.
He was hot 2 years ago.
Somebody's going to hire Nate Oates away from Alabama too, I think.
Kansas State might open.
Talk about a tool shed. Nate Oates is a bigger tool than any other head coach.
Kansas State might open with Tang going to Louisville. We'll see. The Louisville fans think Scott Drew's coming, so maybe Tang goes home to Baylor.
No, he's not.
All right, Big 12 baseball starting. UCF at Oklahoma. UCF 9-1 somehow. BYU at West Virginia.
UCF beat Florida yesterday, so
lots of people
at Florida.
Lots of people have beaten Florida.
Not Texas Tech when it mattered.
Well, this year.
Last year, yeah.
Cincinnati, Kansas State. TCU at Kansas. Texas at Texas Tech, the only ranked matchup this week, though Texas has lost 4 straight. And then Baylor, Houston, Oklahoma State still outside the Big 12 with a series against Mercer. Roy D. Mercer.
How's Roy D. Mercer down here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama?
How big a boy are you? So that's the Big 12 slate. We're not going to go through everything. TCU should hammer Kansas.
Yes.
Houston should hammer Baylor. Baylor stinks. Everything else seems pretty even. I think Oklahoma hosting UCF will be a pretty interesting concept. Introduction for UCF into Big 12 baseball. Oklahoma 6-5, but I feel like they're better than that.
Oklahoma beat Tennessee. So
I know. I don't know why they're 6-5. A lot of these records are interesting to me. West Virginia already 8-6. That series started yesterday. They beat BYU. BYU doesn't play on Sundays, do they?
Nope. You got to play them Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
And West Virginia won 10-4. So that series will continue today. I don't think BYU is very good. I know Cincinnati's not very good, but they're 8-5 somehow. So we'll see. Let's get to. Here's Lupton Drinking Club says UCF has some arms and plays great defense. They're impressive. Interesting.
UCF, I've watched them play few games now. I wasn't impressed, overly impressed when they played Bryant, just because Bryant, I don't know how good they are. Yeah. But watching that Florida game last night or Tuesday night, whatever night it was, get my nights mixed up. Wednesday night. What is today? Friday? Yeah. Golly. Anyways, the Florida game, I was very impressed with UCF and what they brought out of the bullpen, especially. Even though it was a midweek, they're bringing out some of their best dudes. And UCF is going to be a tough out. So, especially if you go to UCF and have to play them on the road, getting 2 out of the 3 is going to be tough for anybody.
Florida is 8-4.
Good one, Roy.
Number 4. They're 5. They got beat by St. John's in the opening game.
St. John's not a bad team.
They lost to Stetson.
Stetson not a bad team.
Stetson, they're 8-5. They lost to Miami.
Miami's not a good team.
Miami stinks, and then they got beat by UCF. UCF 9-1. That's impressive. 9-1. There's nothing to sneeze at. 9-1. They lost to South Florida in a 3-game series, but beat them 3-2 in 10 innings, and then 1-0. And they again beat Florida 9-6 in the midweek. Hey, I'm not blinking at getting a 9-1 team that beats the number 4 team in the country. We played Florida obviously last year in the regional.
Anytime anybody can beat Kevin O'Sullivan, I'm super happy with it.
Yeah.
Don't like Kevin O'Sullivan.
That Florida team lost a lot.
Yeah.
The Miami series was on the road in Miami at A-Rod Park. So there it is. Yes, and the TTU, Texas Tech softball won their opening game in Provo yesterday. Shout out.
Started off that series.
Shout out Notorious, getting that one in the comments. The starting line, chat line. All right, so You and I, Carson, talked about Texas being the second best team in the Big 12 a week ago. Then they lost 4 straight, including games against LSU, Texas State, and most recently Texas A&M, and then a blow-up versus Vanderbilt where they're up 10-3 and then lose that game. We thought it was going to be a pitching versus offense game this weekend. It might just be offense versus offense. What are your thoughts on the series? And I don't know. What do you think Texas Tech has to do besides scoring 25 every day to beat Texas in a series?
Yeah, I mean, I think Texas Tech will pitch it well enough to win should the offense perform the same way they have been. I don't think you're going to score 15 runs off Texas pitching. But I think the final scores are going to be more like, 7-5, 8-6, 8-4, things like that. Now, it's funny because we talked about Texas pitching. Like LeBaron Johnson, he has not been terrible in his 3 starts. He's got a 2.25 ERA. He's probably going to go tonight. I haven't seen the starting rotations yet come out. Maybe you have, Rob. You probably have the starters out. And then Cody Howard and Tanner Witt are probably the other 2 guys that they'll run out there. Or no, Charlie Hurley will be one of the guys they run out there too. So it'll be interesting to see how Texas wants to go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I haven't seen what they're going to do quite yet. If anybody has, Lupton may know too. I don't know, but I don't think it really matters for the Texas Tech offense. You're going to see Gavin Cash in the leadoff spot. Hopefully you're getting Kevin Bazell back this week, but I don't know this weekend, but we don't know there. So Dylan Maxey's going to have to perform well behind the plate and control the pitching staff. And you're going to have to get at least 4 to 5 good innings out of your starters to have chances to win these games. And by good innings, I mean quality starts. So 3 runs or less, make it a quality start, get through 5, and then let this bullpen go to work. And the guys that have been performing well in the bullpen need to keep performing well. And then guys like Derek Bridges, if he gets a chance this weekend, he's got to be better. He's got to be in the zone more. He's got to start with strike 1. It's a bunch of cliche things that you say about what the bullpen needs to be, but it comes down to getting ahead, staying ahead of these Texas hitters, because if you get behind on these Texas hitters, they will make you pay. They're a very good offensive team as well. They've got plenty of guys hitting over 400 right now with Peyton Powell and Schuster and Thomas. Those 3 guys right there are very solid. I think Jared Thomas is sitting in, 457 on the year. He's got a home run, not a whole lot of RBIs, but Peyton Powell is a really good hitter. So you're going to have to keep Peyton Powell off the bases, keep him from doing a lot of damage, especially in the middle of that order, and then just go to work on the bottom half of their order, because the bottom half of their order I don't think is as good as the bottom half of your order is 7, 8, and 9 in the Texas lineup. So
especially if Bravo's hitting 7.
Yeah, especially Bravo's hitting 7 and Lupton coming in clutch. So it will be LeBaron Johnson. He's really good. Cody Howard and Charlie Hurley are the UT rotation. Hurley, I haven't been that impressed with. Cody Howard's got good stuff, but he's not. He doesn't throw enough strikes right now. So we'll see how those 2 do. But tonight's going to be tough with Johnson going on the mound, because he is very, very talented. He's a kid that's going to be very highly drafted. He's going to make a lot of money when he can be taken in the MLB draft.
All right, Chase, thanks for joining us. We will see you. You want to give a little last plug for the starting line chat line?
Yeah. I got to hop off. My grandfather passed away a little over a week ago. 83 years old, Vietnam veteran, married for 49 and a half years before his wife passed away. 4 kids, 8 grandkids, 18 great grandkids.
Wow.
And I can kind of segue this into it. He always taught us a lot of lessons growing up, and his phrase was always, "Did you learn anything?" And when I was 6 years old, he gave me a soldering iron to learn how to use it, and I still have a scar on my hand, and he asked, "Did I learn anything?" Of course, going to a great school like Texas Tech, they prepared me to be a great counselor, but being his grandson, he gave me a lot of great phrases I get to use in therapy, and sometimes we make a breakthrough. It's, "Did we learn anything?" And so I'm one of the few lucky people that get to say I truly love what I do for a living. I'm really happy to be doing it on my own now and follow my own schedule, and get to be the therapist I want to be as opposed to the one somebody tells me to be. And I'm here in Gunner, so Gunner, Salina, Anna, Prosper. I'm not too far of a drive. And then virtually, what I'll say about virtual therapy is I could have somebody show up to my office and face the wall, and I'll face the wall, and we could talk that way. And if they want to get better, they're going to get better. And so it's the same thing when it comes to virtual. If you want to do virtual, we can do it anywhere, anytime kind of thing. And if you want to get better, you're going to get better just by making some goals, putting some work in. I can be a funny guy, and I can also be, I know it's a family show, but I've also been known as a very lovable asshole as a therapist. I can push you and I can challenge you. And very emotional centric as well too. So I'm here to make real solutions. And just like Rob, how you kind of put the plug, if you want to make the phone call and I'm not the right fit for you, then I've got a Rolodex of a lot of people that I know I can find one that can be the right fit. And I have no problem putting that foot forward to help you. So help is out there if you need it. And there's people all over this country that do need it. And if you are an undergrad at Tech and you have that idea of, I want to become a counselor, they have an amazing social work program, counseling program, LMFT program, and psychological program. I applied the day before I graduated from undergraduate and got in and turned it into a great career. And so if you're thinking about doing it, go do it. And Tech is an amazing program. It's an amazing professor, specifically in that counselor education department that I can speak for. So appreciate you guys having me on. I'd love to come back on, towards Big 12s and outdoors, and keep doing your thing, Rob. I'm proud of you, buddy, for breaking off on your own and doing it as well.
Proud of you too, man. And Alan said it best here. What a great legacy piece to you and yours, man, today. And thanks for coming on.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, Chase.
Chase from Starting Line Counseling, startinglinecounseling.com to find him and what he's doing. As always, 15 minutes free consultation there on the website. Heart swerve back into baseball. Unless you wanted to say something there.
No, I was going to say, before we get back to baseball, I mean, the stigma around men in counseling, we know what it is. Like, we grew up around that stuff. You're not supposed to need help. You're not supposed to ask for help. Just be a man up. Those days are, I mean, I got my degree. My degree is in psychology. That's what I thought I wanted to do. I've turned that into, helping like high school kids and coaching and being a mentor to some of those kids. I use it in that regard. But what Chase does is so many people need mental help and wellness, and there's no shame in asking for help either.
Sure.
So just throwing that out there for anybody who thinks it's soft or anything like that. It's actually not soft. It's one of the best things you can do for yourself, both for your mental health and your physical health as well, because your mental health can control physical health and wellness as well. So what Chase does is awesome. He's and what Alan said, his grandfather created a legacy, and Chase is living through that, and he's learning every single day like his grandfather wanted him to. And what better way than to open up a brick and mortar where people can come in and help, and then you can also get your help online and over the phone, and he's doing it all. So kudos to Chase and all that he does, and I know that it's something that benefits a lot of people. So it's awesome to have a guy like that come onto a show like this, a sports show, or we talk about manly things and sports, but end of the day, sports are where you need psychology the most and counseling the most. Being a sports psychologist, because that's what mine's in, is sports psychology. Is you don't realize it until you've been in it and you've done it, and how it affects you and all those things. So if you need any help, call Chase. If he can't help you, he'll find someone who can.
Let's speed run through these Big 12 matchups. UCF, Oklahoma. I think UCF goes into Oklahoma, gets at least one, but until I see it, maybe I'm being biased here, but I'll take Oklahoma to win the series against UCF at home.
Yeah, I hope they win one, and I hope for selfish reasons that Brennan Girton's game is the one they win, just because he's friend, and
Sure.
I hope the best for him, even though it didn't work out here at Texas Tech. A fresh start at Oklahoma is what he needed, closer to family, closer to home. So I hope they can win his start this weekend. But yeah, it's going to be tough. I think UCF has a chance to get 2 out of 3, but playing on the road in the Big 12 at Oklahoma, Oklahoma's a tough place. I don't know what the weather's going to be like. Probably the same as it will be here in West Texas, a little colder than it has been. So I think Oklahoma can take 2 out of 3. Give me the Sooners.
Agreed. BYU, West Virginia. Now a game has already happened. I'll take West Virginia to win the series. They probably sweep.
Yeah, I think West Virginia will sweep BYU. Randy Mazey's final season in the Big 12, final season in his career before he rides off into the Smoky Mountain, the mountain sunset. So yeah, give me Randy Mazey's club to sweep BYU.
Is that a full on farewell tour? Are we giving him boots at the?
I don't know what you're doing for Randy Mazey.
Yes, like, for Randy Mazey
has West Virginia really been here that long enough and been successful enough for him to get a farewell tour like that?
I guess
I think he's done a good job. But
he want to retire last year, and the new AD was like, "Please, no, we're trying not to fire Neil Brown. We've got an alcoholic at basketball and the basketball job. Please, Randy Mazey, just stay one more year so we don't have to have."
They just opened up a brand new ballpark a couple of years ago. Yeah.
Now, if he leaves at the end of the year, they're going to have 3 new coaches after Neil Brown was fired after his one fluke season last year. All right, so that's West Virginia. We'll stay by Oklahoma State here. Oklahoma State hosting 9-4 Mercer. Can they sweep Mercer?
The Bears. I think Mercer will probably take 1 from Oklahoma State. Oklahoma State just is not good this year on the bump.
They lost.
They don't pitch well. They don't pitch well at all.
On the weekend, they swept Central Michigan last weekend. 3-11.
Central Michigan is dog bad. Yeah.
And then going back to the Kubota College Baseball Series, they won 2 out of 3, beating Arkansas.
True.
But they lost 2 out of 3 to Sam Houston in the first weekend of the series. I just maybe their weekend pitching is better than their midweek pitching, but I don't know. I think Mercer takes maybe 1 here.
Yeah, I think Mercer takes maybe 1. I wouldn't put it past Mercer to take 1. They're a South team. They're from the South. You've got some guys that can play on that ball club. So I wouldn't be surprised if Mercer took 1, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Oklahoma State swept them and everybody thinks Oklahoma State's back in it.
You say Mercer is from the South. Where's Mercer?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
I would have assumed
pretty sure it's.
Is it a university?
Yeah, Macon, Georgia. Yeah, I know it's from the South.
Okay.
Yeah, Mercer Bears. They got some pretty cool uniforms, if I remember correctly, from last year. But
they look gray and
orange. Yeah, orange and navy bluish colors scheme, same as Auburn's color scheme.
Their football stadium is called the 5-Star Stadium.
I think it's a really cool campus.
They started in 1891.
Wow. Yeah. So old university in Macon, Georgia. Yeah. And Lupton said TCU will probably do something for Randy Mazey. He was an assistant there for a very long time. That's a good point. I would not be surprised to see TCU do something.
All right. Kansas State hosting Cincinnati. I'll take 2 out of 3 for the Wildcats over the Bearcats.
Yes.
Kansas, TCU. Does TCU stay undefeated? I'll let you go first.
TCU sweeps Kansas. Yeah. Kansas is just not TCU. They pitch it. They're going to pitch it well. The offense has been playing really well. I think TCU is the best team in this conference, and it's not even like there's no coin flip or anything like that. TCU is just the most complete team in this conference.
Yep.
TCU's got a chance to do a lot of good things this year. I know people at Texas Tech want Texas Tech to be the team that has a lot of good chances this year. I don't know that Texas Tech is on the level with the pitching staff that they need to be to make a run to win a national title, TCU's got the pieces to make a run to win a national title. It's early.
Not getting on the Big 12 play yet, Carson.
I know it's early, but TCU has the opportunity. They've got the pieces to do some very special things this year. And Kirk Saarloos, I think that the way he coaches just allows these guys to be these guys. Like that's why they came to play for him. That's why they stuck around and didn't go with Jim Schlossnagle to TCU for the ones that stayed around, or to Texas A&M. I mean, and so the dugout's his interviews in Omaha last year were some of the best in-game college baseball coaching interviews that you've seen.
Except for that BS where he was like, "Oh yeah, my kid said, well, I love it."
Yeah, well, he's just recruiting at that point. Yeah,
in the middle of a game.
Yeah.
All right, I'll say Kansas wins on Sunday after that spiel there. Baylor at Houston. I mean, Houston sweep here at home. Baylor get one. Is Houston that good?
Give Baylor one at Houston, maybe one. They're feeling good.
Hey, St. John's has to win over Houston too.
Yeah, St. John's is not a bad team. I'm trying to tell you. St. John's will be in a regional this year.
Dang, Texas State, Vanderbilt, and St. John's all have wins over at least two Big 12 teams.
Yeah. St. John's is not a bad baseball school. They're up in New York. You don't think baseball when you think of the Red Storm, but St. John's is a good baseball team. Very highly touted by a bunch of people, especially in the Big East Conference and up in the North.
5-4. Lost 1 to Sam Houston State, 2 to Houston.
Baylor swept Oral Bob last week.
Yeah, but Oral Bob, we've talked about them too.
Oral Bob lost so many dudes off that Omaha team from a year ago.
Oh yeah, Oral Bob. No, Oral. Oralaha? What do they call it?
I have no idea.
Something like that. Man, Baylor.
I just don't say anything with oral at the front.
I think it was Oralaha.
Oralaha?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like that.
The dumb T-shirt they made.
Yeah, I don't think that's catchy.
So we're going Houston, certainly to win the series. Certainly to win the series. And then Texas Tech, Texas. What are we thinking here? I'll let you give the first.
Texas Tech, Texas. Texas Tech takes 2 out of 3. I really, truly believe, not just Homer in me, not anything else. I think Texas Tech can take 2 out of 3 from Texas. I don't know that you win today. I don't know that you're going to be good enough. If Kyle Robinson is good enough to beat LJJ, I don't know. I don't know if he's got enough in the tank. LeBaron Johnson, if he throws the way he should, and with his stuff is as good as it is normally, it's going to be very tough to come by some runs, and Kyle Robinson's going to give up at least 4 or 5. Can
I give you a cop-out answer?
Yeah, give me a cop-out answer.
Whoever wins tonight wins 2 out of 3.
Ooh,
Whoever wins.
It's hard to argue with that.
I mean, coming back from Kyle Robinson, you have Mac Hewer in his second weekend start. And then you have Jack Washburn. I think offensively, you're a lot better than Texas has shown this year, especially at Danlaw Field. Defensively, it seems like they have some issues, and you're pretty short up defensively. It still is weird that Gavin Cash is batting leadoff to me, but it's just because
I like it.
It works, especially when it hits leadoff taters. Get you a 7-run lead before you give it all up before getting back in the win column. It's just interesting. Alan says Tech sweeps. UT is fundamentally flawed at multiple phases of the game. TCU won't lose a game till April. That's his prediction. Wow. I mean, their schedule sets up.
It could happen. Yeah, it sets up really nicely for them. I'm not going to lie.
They have an easy schedule, in my opinion. Okay, here we go. The Lupton Drinking Club, Texas wins 2 out of 3. TCU sweeps. Houston sweeps. West Virginia sweeps. Oklahoma State 2-1. UCF wins on the road in Norman.
Alan Corbin says UCF takes 2 in Norman. I don't disagree. It's hard for me to disagree with either of those takes. Like, I don't know what we're going to see from UCF in Norman. I also don't know what we're going to get from the Sooners in Norman either. So it's crazy how, Oklahoma pitched so well 2 years ago on their road to Omaha. That was what got them to Omaha, was the pitching staff.
But like in May, late May.
Yeah, late May.
They figured it out. They were a fairly average team until did they sweep Texas Tech? They were like backs against the wall to even make the tournament. They sweep Texas Tech in Lubbock. Was that true?
Yeah, I think they took 2 out of 3 here in Lubbock.
You might have won on Sunday,
because that's the year that you ended up going to the which regional did you go? Georgia Southern that year. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were just not very good that year. You were lucky to get into a regional. Texas Tech was, but yeah, like I said, I could see it going both ways. UCF taking 2 or Oklahoma taking 2.
Yeah.
Like I said, it depends on how you pitch it for Oklahoma. UCF has some arms that are pretty good. I just haven't seen a ton of either of these two teams to feel confident about either prediction on that front. But I took Oklahoma to win 2 out of 3 just because it's in Norman. So we'll see. Maybe the wind's whipping. UCF doesn't know how to do that, play that game.
I until I see some of these Big 12 teams, new Big 12 teams in the Big 12.
You're going to give the benefit of the doubt to the old guys.
I will.
The old guard.
Even if it's Oklahoma. Yeah. Even if it's Oklahoma.
Yeah.
All right. K-State 2-1 over Cincy. Yeah, I don't think Kansas State's good enough to sweep anybody, but surely they're good enough to win.
Especially on Sundays. Sundays is where Kansas State will struggle.
Yeah.
They're
out of pitching.
they're out of pitching. Yeah.
I'll say this. I've only watched one Cincinnati game this year, but they sucked.
They're not very good.
They got beaten by like 20 in the game I watched. So, like, I don't know. I think
Cincinnati's not good.
Was it Coastal Carolina? Who did I watch them lose to? So,
Cincinnati and BYU are probably the 2 worst teams in Baylor, the 3 worst teams in the Big 12 this year.
8-5.
Yeah.
They lost their first 2 games at Jacksonville. Oh, it was who was it? It was Coastal Carolina, 25-2. So I watched them get beat 25-2. So, like, in my mind,
in your head,
they are 25.
They're garbage.
They're 25-2 is what they are.
Well, they're not much better than that. So, yeah.
So.
Kansas State, this was supposed to be a year for them to have a chance to be towards the top of the Big 12, but I just haven't seen that either from them this year. They're okay Friday and Saturday pitching wise. Sunday is going to be a trip for Kansas State all year long. Like, I think it'll be a revolving door of who's starting on Sundays for Kansas State.
Going back to the Texas Tech series, one thing I wanted to talk about. If you're good enough on Friday night for Kyle Robinson to go 6 or 7, and offensively you have a lead that you don't have to pitch Free and Parrish and some of your big arms, I really do think you have a chance to sweep. I really do. But there's 2 names that need to show up big this weekend. You ready?
Yeah.
2 names. Can you give me 2 bullpen arms that you think I'm thinking of that need to show up big this weekend? One has pitched quite a bit. One sparingly, but is a transfer.
Parrish and Rogers.
Rogers is one. And then somebody else I haven't mentioned yet. Transfer in.
The big kid from Abilene Christian. Yeah.
Max Huffling.
Huffling. Thank you.
He needs to be the maniac we saw against Texas Southern to come in and have a huge inning late in one of these games. If it's Friday with a lead, or if it's Saturday tight in a ball game, or even Sunday giving you 3 or 4 innings after Jack Washburn. Or, hey, if Mac Hewer can't get it done, Huffling has the juice to come in and give you 3 or 4 innings in the middle of a Saturday start. So I think Huffling is going to show up big this weekend. I think Jacob Rogers needs to be sharp, Jacob Rogers. Then if Free and Parrish can be your bullpen pieces and pitch maybe like Beckel, close a game on Friday and close a game on Sunday, you're in good shape to be in the bullpen. But if you're not sharp out of the bullpen, you're not going to beat anybody in the Big 12. So
yeah, well, and if you see Parker Hutera, he's got to be in the zone more. I like his stuff. I think it could play up well, and I don't know that you'll see Hutera any this weekend, but yeah, like I said, I think the starters need to go at least 5. I think you've got to get 5 innings out of your starting pitching, and quality 5 innings out of your starting pitching, especially tomorrow night. Kyle Robinson's going to have to pitch one of his better performances. He's going to have a regional, like the performance he had in the regional last year. He's going to have that performance tonight, especially against one of the better arms, if not maybe the best Friday night guy in the Big 12 in LeBaron Johnson. So you're just going to have to be really good tonight all the way around for Texas Tech. And if you can get to Johnson early and get into Texas's bullpen early, like run the pitch count up. And by early, I mean, like get him out of here in the 5th inning too. Yeah. Run the pitch count up, really be really good at separating balls and strikes early in the counts and not swinging at stupid crap, because his stuff is really good. If you can do that and boost the pitch count up, because it's so early in the season, they're not going to push him. They're not going to push him probably out past what he needs to throw in the 85 to 90 pitch range. So if you can do that in 5 innings, get into the Texas bullpen, I think you got a chance, because I don't know that the Texas bullpen has been that awesome this year. That's where they've struggled a little bit lately with the losses. So if they can get him out early, it bodes really well for Texas Tech. And plus you're going to see their arms that they have in the bullpen for the rest of the weekend as well, which bodes well for the offensive scheme as well. Even if you don't win tonight, you get to see those arms. So it'll be interesting to see how Texas Tech does it offensively, and what their approach is at the plate, especially, and obviously with Gavin Cash at the top of the order. It's not like you're having a leadoff man going up there and, I'm going to wait until I get 2 strikes. It doesn't matter what I see. I'm just going to see some pitches. Gavin Cash ain't that dude. He's the dude that goes up there and swings at first pitch,
throw
fastballs,
and he'll put it over the fence
and hits it 385 feet. So,
hey, 400.
We'll see.
Feet. Don't sell him short.
He's only got to hit it 385. He's only got to hit it 385 to right field. That's what I'm saying.
I think
it was 478 in New Mexico. Yes, on Tuesday.
But the one in Lubbock over the monster.
Oh yeah, 484 or something like that. Yeah,
that's crazy.
That hit the engineering key in the air. Yeah. Lupton said if Tech knocks LJJ out early, Tech dang well might sweep. That's a very good point. Like Texas, how he goes tonight is how Texas will perform in the series. Like if he gives them a boost tonight and throws a gem, Texas has a chance to win 2 out of 3 just because they win tonight.
Oh, I think whoever wins tonight will win 2 out of 3. I think
that's fair. It's hard to argue with that.
Hey, because of Allen's last comment, TCU not losing until April, I went ahead and looked at Warren Nolan's predicted wins. I want you to just throw out a guess of what Warren Nolan thinks of TCU's chances this season. They play 54 games. Give me a final record.
He's probably saying TCU, they play 54 games.
Yeah.
Let's give them 48 wins on the season.
52-2.
52-2. Wow. In this conference.
Only losses against Dallas Baptist in the midweek and West Virginia in Fort Worth to finish the year.
See,
that's all based on RPI and
look. I think TCU is a great baseball team. They're a fantastic baseball team, but there's no way they're winning 52 games in the regular season.
No, they're not going to win 52 games.
No, like even the best of teams play poorly every now and again, especially on Sundays in the Big 12. and you get beat. Like it just is going to happen. And then on Fridays, you're going to run it like when TCU plays Texas.
Yeah.
LeBaron Johnson's going to beat a lot of teams by himself just because he's so good. So, I don't see TCU winning 52 games. They could win 49, maybe 50-4, but 52-2 is a very, it's a stretch.
I think it would have to be like, you have to give me the number like 44.5 for me to take the over.
I still think 48 is a good.
Baseball, man. I think 45 is great. 45 is national contender hosting a regional or whatever.
Yeah.
Brandon
Sarche.
Yeah.
Remember when that Tennessee team lost like 4 games and got bounced in the regional? Yeah. Notre Dame.
Then we would have matched up against them in the Super.
Yeah.
But instead, no.
No, Notre Dame beat Tennessee in the Super that year.
Yeah.
When Notre Dame beat you at Georgia Southern.
We would have matched up with Tennessee. Yeah, I was thinking, no, we played Notre Dame.
Yeah. Notre Dame won the Georgia Southern Regional.
Alan says TCU goes 48-6.
See, I could see that. I would put my money on TCU like right around 46-48 wins in the regular season for sure.
I mean, sure. Good for them. I hope Tech beats them.
Gotta go to Lupton, yeah.
See. I think that's all I have. I know softball continues their series with BYU.
Yeah, softball should get a sweep this weekend from BYU.
You would love an early sweep, especially against BYU and Provo. As many of those road games you can win.
Yeah.
And really with the top half of the Big 12, you have to sweep some teams. You can't just win series because Oklahoma State, and Texas are so hard to win against.
It's crazy that Texas is now in some of these power rankings that I've seen on Twitter. They have Texas as the number 1 team in the Big 12 in softball. Just because Oklahoma got beat by UL Lafayette this last week. Louisiana Lafayette is a very good softball program.
Yeah.
They're a very good softball team. It was only a matter of time before Oklahoma got beat because of a good pitcher coming in and beating them. That's what happened. Oklahoma's still the best team in the country.
Yeah, Oklahoma doesn't lose losing streaks. They just start new winning streaks.
Right. They're still the best team in the country.
They're fine. Yeah. They lost.
Yeah.
They're fine. Yeah. Let's see. So Texas Tech beat BYU yesterday 10-5. They'll play again today at 4 and tomorrow at 1 to finish that series. Again, that is at BYU. Then they'll be back at Rocky Johnson Field in the midweek for a series against New Mexico, and then it's Oklahoma at home. So you're going to get to test your mettle early. And then
I already had people texting about tickets.
Iowa State, UCF, Baylor, Kansas, Oklahoma State, Houston, Texas to finish. So I don't know what BYU the only new softball team?
Houston.
Oh yeah, Houston. I just read Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Does Cincinnati have a softball team? I don't know.
Cincinnati and UCF has softball. Yeah, UCF has softball.
They're just not on
Cincinnati does not have softball.
It's not on the schedule. Yeah, I guess you don't schedule everybody.
No.
Yeah, that loss might piss off OU enough to not lose another game. Yeah, that certainly. Like I said, they just start new winning streaks. That's all Oklahoma does.
Texas Tech is in first place in Big 12 standings right now, though.
1-0.
1-0. Can't win them all if you don't win the first one, Rob.
And West Virginia baseball, same.
Yeah, 1-0.
Place.
That's right.
Okay. What do you have going on this weekend? You got more softball? No softball this week.
LCU baseball. I'll be play-by-playing LCU baseball this week.
LCU baseball. That's on the LCU. What is that on? The NAIA network, NCAA.
The Lone Star Conference Network. Yeah, they're the NCAA now, Rob. Not NAIA anymore.
I fixed it. I caught up.
They have St. Mary's this weekend.
St. Mary's.
They're on a heater. LCU baseball is so.
Yes, they are.
Yeah,
they are.
5 in a row.
Anthony calling him with you.
Yep. Yes, he will be.
Good. You got to give him space on the home run calls, man.
Yep. Yeah, you do. And strikeouts.
All right. I love that guy.
One thing's for sure, you don't get bored in the booth with him.
No, you don't. No, you don't.
He's old school New York guy. Yeah.
I love tuning into the highlights they post because they're really home runs, gilly bombs, and whatnot.
Yeah, home runs, stolen bases, getting caught stealing, things like that.
A couple of athletes on the LCU team I've been watching.
Yes, there are. The catcher is one of my favorites.
Yeah. All right. Well, good luck on that. I'll be watching.
It's true, Alan.
Lots of Texas Tech athletics. LCU should be like DBU and be D1 in baseball. That would be interesting.
Whenever I was in college,
more if it's
when I was at LCU in baseball, we were literally a Division I baseball team. It was just we played in the NAIA, and we were very, very talented. But we had, guys that were 3-year starters at Oklahoma State. One was an all Big 12 player, Big 12 second teamer one year, and he ends up in Lubbock the next year. I don't know why. I can't remember why. But just kind of guys like that just trickled in while we were there and had some very good teams, very, very talented teams going to the NAIA World Series every year, winning the Natty my sophomore year. So, yeah, it was some fun times in those days. Now, they're NCAA D2 right now. They've played well. They had a good year last year, went to the regional last year. Have a really good opportunity to go to a regional again. They play in one of the toughest baseball conferences in the country in Division II baseball, if not the toughest Division II baseball conference in the country. Angelo State winning the national title last year in Division II. They're ranked number 1 again this year. They've been tough. UTPB's been tough this year. They split with Angelo. They won 2 of 4 because they play 4-game conference series in the Lone Star, and every single series but one during the year is a Lone Star Conference series because there's so many teams. So it's a grind, man. The Lone Star Conference is no joke. There's a lot of these Lone Star Conference teams that could probably beat Baylor and BYU and Cincinnati and win a 2 out of 3 game series again, especially Angelo State. They've got the arms to do it, and LCU's got some arms too to go along with it. So it's Division II baseball, but some of these teams, man, they're salty. They've got some good pieces.
The St. Mary's Rattlers.
Yeah, the Rattlers coming into town.
Number 15.
First year head coach.
Gnarly goatee. I was trying to look at their schedule here. They're 9-9. So you better sweep them.
Yes. Yeah, good opportunity for LCU to get another sweep this weekend. Good opportunity for LCU and Texas Tech to get sweeps this weekend. Just got to get LJJ out of the game early tonight for Texas Tech.
All right.
Luckily, my LCU game starts at 3, so I'll be able to get to the Tech game maybe in the middle innings.
We'll follow along with you there after we watch Texas Tech softball and then get ready for baseball and basketball again tomorrow.
Yep.
All right. And track and field. Follow
track and field, too. Try and win an Natty on the men's side.
If you're watching right now and you missed the first half of the show, go back and watch. We preview the national championships. Indoor going on currently. I meant to keep it up. The heptathlon is going right now. We've probably had 3 or 4 events by now. I think they
started at 9:30 Eastern time, so it's been going for about an hour. Yeah.
So there you go. That's all I got. You have any other stories to touch on?
No, big weekend, fun weekend for Texas Tech athletics here in Lubbock, LCU athletics as well. The men and women are both at the conference tournament. LCU's men won last night in the first round of the conference tournament. So trying to boost their regional resumes and get into the NCAA Division II regionals. So good weeks all around. Peckham, right? Isn't that what they say?
Yeah, Peckham. Go Shaps. Yeah.
So Lubbock is rolling around.
Lots of games to go to.
Lots of tings, yeah.
Maybe I come down to the Hayes Field today.
Yeah, come on.
You think I can get in for free? Hey, I'm Rob, bro. I used to go here.
You definitely could, because I think Mrs. Parnell is the one
Shelley-
who takes the gate. So.
Shelly at the gate.
Yeah, Shelly takes the gate. So
All right.
definitely getting in for free.
All right, maybe I do that. We'll see.
Just show that old student ID.
Yeah, I have it.
Last thing, best thing I've seen this week. Take a thing from Scott Van Pelt. I think it's Indianapolis College or something. Oh, nice! You still have that?
Yeah.
There's no telling where mine is.
In my wallet.
I had hair in mine though.
Oh, I just showed mine.
The Indianapolis College Greyhounds
Yeah.
did the to get students to come to their games. They did the in Major League where they're doing the Visa commercial or whatever it is. Hi, we're the Cleveland Indians. You may not know us. They did that whole thing, posted it. It's awesome. I'll try and find it and send it to you. But yeah, it was pretty good. And they're doing it for like the student card. Bring your student ID card to get in for free to the games. Don't leave home without it. It's pretty sweet. It's a good gaff on the old Major League. There's people in the comments like, I don't get it. Oh my! I feel bad for people who haven't seen those movies.
Somebody slide into home plate at the end.
Yeah. Yes. The guy did. Yeah. Mm-hmm. They were in the outfield in front of the scoreboard, but yeah, he slid in at the very end. Yeah.
Willie Mays Hayes.
Yeah, Willie Mays Hayes. I called one of our in practice. A girl made a play, and I said, "Look like Willie Mays Hayes." She's like, I have no idea who that is. Oh no, we're failing the youth by not letting them see Major League.
Yeah, you got to catch them up. That's got a reference to Jesus, and it'll fit in with the LC crap
and voodoo.
Saying Jesus Christ.
Jobu.
All right,
Jobu. We're off the rails again.
Yeah. Let's wrap it up. Major League Goat baseball movie. Thank you for watching. Big crowd today.
Yeah, big crowd.
Breakfast
was big. It's about bigger than I thought it would be.
I have to go back to breakfast time. That's what I was telling you.
Do we?
We can catch the replay. All right, I'm gonna go take a nap. We will see y'all later.
Peace.